It was the first time in many years that Gukesh lost a game and did not arrange the chessboard. This was after his third loss at the Prague Masters 2026, and this came against Arvind Chidambaram. Clearly, Gukesh isn't having a great event here. Three draws and three losses in 6 rounds, and these are the scenes from his 6th round game. Now it's time for the 7th round. Gukesh enters in. As always, you can see with any top sports players, they have to bounce back. It's not enough that they are not in good form or anything of that sort. They just need to focus in, and there you see Gukesh entering in. It's round 7 and he's going to take on Parham Maghsoodloo. And there you can see Divya as well entering in. She's playing in the challengers section. And Gukesh speaks with Peter Boleslav, and he just does some kind of a ritual where you turn around and go to the board that gives him good luck. Always very kind, very mindful, the organizer of the Prague Chess Festival, Peter Boleslav. And now Gukesh takes the black pieces. He's facing Parham Maghsoodloo in this tournament, who has had a pretty decent event. Parham started off with a loss against David Navara, then had 3 draws, but did score a win against Vincent Keimer. So Parham is on 50% score there. Gukesh coming to the board early, adjusting his pieces. It's been a kind of tough tournament for Gukesh. He's already losing quite a few rating points. Close to 20 ELO points is what he's losing. And hopefully, if he manages to get couple of wins in the last 3 rounds, it would make his tournament much better. Parham coming in a bit late to the game. There he is. Of course, for him as well, there must be a lot of pressure both on the board as well as off the board, with the war coming to his country in Iran and so on. I'm sure that he has a lot on his mind. Chess players are very emotional people many times. They need stability in their life in every sphere in order to play good chess. But let's see how these two individuals perform today. Parham writes down the score sheet and adjusts all his pieces. Whenever Parham Maghsoodloo plays, everyone's super excited to follow these games because he is aggressive, he is fighting, and he loves to play combative chess. Never drawish, never playing for short draws, and so is the case with Gukesh. Pawn comes up to e4. Gukesh responds back with e5, and one of the things that Gukesh would want to do here, knight to f3, is keep steady time on the clock, because time pressure has been a big problem, big issue for him. Ruy Lopez on the board with bishop b5, and will Gukesh play pawn to a6, or will it be something else? He goes knight to f6, and with knight f6 you have like the Berlin on the board, and Parham plays the anti-Berlin with pawn to d3. Of course, a fighting weapon, trying to keep as many pieces on the board, and bishop c5 makes a lot of sense. Always keep in mind this tactic takes, knight e5 runs into queen d4 with a double attack, and so white castles here, and first takes on c6, d takes c6, and now castles it out. Now the e5 pawn is hanging here, so Gukesh goes knight d7, defending this pawn, and Parham goes knight to d2. This knight usually comes to c4 to put a bit more pressure on the e5 pawn. Gukesh castles. He can then play rook e8. He can also play f6. These are the possibilities. Pawn to a4 played, gaining space on the queen side. And a good idea now is to play a5 at the right time. He goes rook e8, over defending the e5 pawn. Knight comes out to c4. You can see Parham blitzing out his moves. Gukesh taking some time. He pushes his pawn to a5. And now bishop e3, offering a trade of bishops. If you take here, it's quite possible that white would take back with the knight looking at the f5 square. So Gukesh plays bishop b4. This move has been played by Ding Liren against Hikaru Nakamura, 3 games online chess. But knight d2 is what Hikaru had played in all those games. But Parham goes bishop d2, and now comes b6 and h3. Look at the speed at which Parham is playing his moves. He's clearly well prepared here for the game. And now Gukesh chops off on d2. Maybe not the best decision. Maybe it was better to keep the bishop on the board with bishop f8, but bishop d2. And now you can take with the queen. But you can also take back with the knight, preparing the move f4. And Parham chops it off with knight fd2. Usually I like these positions for white. They are smooth, they are nice. Knight to f8. The knight intends to come to the e6 square. We have queen to h5. The idea is to pressurize the e5 pawn here. And queen f6 played, defending the e5 pawn. But now Parham goes king h2. He's defending the h3 pawn. He's slowly preparing g3 and f4. Pawn comes up to g6. I guess Gukesh can go queen to h6. Parham can go queen h6, keeping the queen close to the black king. And queen g7 played. He could have traded queens, but this imbalance is very tough to assess because white then has a central majority. By the way, Parham says, I don't want to trade queens, goes queen h4. Knight comes to e6. And now it's time for g3 f4. That's what he plays. Parham slowly and steadily putting pressure on Gukesh. Gukesh has to be very careful. He goes knight to c5, and now f4 looks very powerful. Just push the pawn to f4. Let's say take. It's great position. Even if you try to push my knight away and win the b2 pawn, it's not enough. Look at the weaknesses around your king. But he first goes knight e3. He doesn't play f4 immediately. But there's a lot of potential for white in this position with f4 coming up. Gukesh panics a bit and pushes his pawn to f5. Sometimes you want to do something in a position. One good thing is that he has some time on the clock, 31 minutes. Now if gf5, already f4 gives white a close to winning position. So bishop takes and he brings his rook to e1. Notice that the a4 pawn isn't hanging. The queen is defending it. And now e5 pawn is big weakness. Bishop e6. And you can already think about playing the move b3, knight c4, attack the e5 pawn. He pushes pawn to b3. And black goes rook f8. And now knight c4, definitely putting pressure here is dangerous. There's also this juicy square on e4 for the white knight. He goes knight g4 and finds a good move, Gukesh, rook a8. Because now if knight e5, there's bishop h3, which actually works tactically. So Parham doesn't really try to cash in. He goes queen g5. Bishop comes out to f5. And now queen drops back to the e3 square, putting pressure on the e5 pawn. He takes h g4. And let's see how Gukesh deals with this. He goes knight e6. He's eyeing the d4 square for his knight, and knight f3. Now again, look at some of the tactics here. Queen h6 and you drop a piece. So knight f3 attacks the e5 pawn. Gukesh goes c5. If you take here, there's knight d4 with a nasty pin here. So that's the reason why Parham goes c3. He does not take the pawn. He would like to take and play d4. But Gukesh goes knight d8. Again, tactically very strong, because takes is met with knight f7, d4, takes and c5. That's what Gukesh had calculated. So d4, he goes queen f7, now takes the pawn on e5, because notice you couldn't have taken, the e8 rook was hanging here. So look at the speed at which they are playing. f4, so quickly played by Parham. Pawn takes pawn. Pawn takes pawn. Now you can take the queen and play into an endgame. But actually the a4 pawn is hanging, and if we know Gukesh well, he wants to always be ambitious. Maybe he sees that there's a chance here for himself. And look at the time. He has 6 minutes. Parham goes f5. He's attacking. He's going all out against Gukesh's king. Knight to f7 played. And king h3. He brings his king up, maybe, Parham, you never know, he's trying to come up with his king. Queen to b5. And now he brings his queen to f4. So positionally, black should be better because of these pawns on the queen side. But right now, it's all about tactics, time pressure, last 5 moves before 40th move. Queen to d5 played, and knight takes knight. He brings the queen back in. If f takes g6, you can simply trade the queens and get a very good position in the endgame. So rook e5, you have to keep the queens as white. a4, Gukesh starts pushing his queen side pawns. Will there be a decisive result here? Queen e3 played, bringing the queen back in. b5, pushing the pawn forward. And now rook to f4. We are on move 39. Gukesh has 1 minute 39 seconds, and he finds an incredible move, queen d5. If you take the queen, I take your queen, and black seems to have good chances here. He goes queen e1. Parham somehow reaches 40th move, takes, pawn takes, and now they have 30 extra minutes on the clock, so they can slow down a bit. And you can see Gukesh looking at the big screen to see if he has reached move 40. The black pawns are so strong here, but on the other hand, white's central e pawn is his hope. a3, the a pawn is running down, and I think you have to place your hopes on the e pawn. You could also go f6, but I think e6 makes a lot of sense. And he pushes pawn to e6. You have g5 here, attacking the rook on f4, and rook e4 played. Maybe Gukesh could have even thought of playing here, but f6 would have been too strong with these two pawns. So g5, rook e4, and now a2 played. The pawn is just one step away from queening. In fact, you can queen here, queen a1, and the rook is hanging. So you have to be careful of all these tricks. e7 played, threatening the rook to take with a check. So you have to save it. Rook e8 played, and now f6 is a bad move, because if you play f6, I simply queen and take your rook. So Parham finds this very nice move, rook e6. With this, he's trying to create threats with queen c1, queen g5, and all these moves. So rook e6, and now Gukesh plays pawn to b4 and queen c1, the only move played. King f7, he goes queen a1, again threatening a check. And Gukesh comes back. Notice how coming in is bad because of a mate in 1. You have to do it with a check. So queen c1 attacking g5, and there's just no way to protect the g5 pawn. If you play h6, now queen a1 is very, very strong, coming in here with rook g6 threat. So king f7, queen a1 played again, and Gukesh does not have a way to continue the game. He goes king g8 and agrees to a draw, and they start discussing here, and you can already see that Gukesh, he's back in his stride. He is calculating, he's discussing with his opponents, he's happier than what happened yesterday against Arvind. Meanwhile, Parham Maghsoodloo, well, he dominated this game right from the opening. He played really, really well and had excellent chances to beat Gukesh. This would have been very dangerous for Gukesh, fourth loss, but he managed to pull the brakes and secure that half point. One of the things that everyone enjoys to do with Parham is analyze chess. His passion simply shines through in everything that he does. Look at the interest on his face. It's as if he wants to know what Gukesh was thinking there. And see Parham telling a variation that makes Gukesh smile. It's not so many people who can actually make their opponent smile with some wacky line that they've said. But there's an interview of Gukesh on our channel with Ketty where he speaks about this moment. You can check it out. It's actually Parham speaking about the white king going all the way to h5 in the position. But good to see Gukesh rearranging his pieces, and you can see maybe Parham saying to Gukesh that you will be back, don't worry. Such amazing gentlemen of the game. Wonderful to see.
Small, yes, something like this.
Yeah, it's always bad disappointment.
Yeah, it looks like very nasty. I don't even see how to defend if I can. Just in small move, which was okay, is very strong. Because h5 is. Yeah, because h5 is. I don't know why the knight c4 is just looks. You have to take. Can you have this image, please? Yes.
I'm happy to see you. Hi.
I will show you or to drink if you want to. Yeah, and here you can analyze, but probably not today. You can go.